Have you ever wondered, what is my team doing? Yeah, me too. Maybe they just need to play more. Maybe they just need to learn something. Maybe you should just tell them the mistakes they should avoid doing. Hello everyone, my name is Sample, and today I will be talking about 5 beginner mistakes you should not be doing. If you're a pro and you feel like you don't need to watch this, all I can say is, hey, there's still more videos on my channel. Now, I'd first like to clarify some things. Everything said in this video is only my opinion and you can always tell me yours down in the comment section. These are some things I noticed newer players do, and hell, even I do some of these from time to time. I didn't make this video to make fun of people making these mistakes. I made this so people can get better at the game, including me. Without anything else to say, let's get started. Rations. You might be thinking that eating and drinking isn't that necessary to play the game, and I was honestly thinking the same thing before. But then I found out about the debuffs you get for not caring about yourself in this blocky game. Starving players receive a minus 10% defense reduction and minus 20% damage. Dehydrated players receive minus 20% defense and minus 10% damage. If the player is both starving and dehydrated, they receive a speed debuff. So in total, a player who ignores rations has minus 30% defense and minus 30% damage output, melee-wise of course. If you think that these debuffs don't sound that bad, I can assure you that you will be feeling them later on. That 30% can make a huge difference, whether it be you killing your enemy or the enemy killing you. For players that care about themselves and make sure to eat rations, they receive buffs instead. For being both nourished and quenched at the same time, you receive 15% damage buff and 15% defense buff, with a speed boost. Those buffs are really nice when you are playing an already fragile perk such as Artillerist, or a perk which benefits from the damage buff such as Executioner. Just make sure to take your time and eat and drink. Utilizing items. This is a weird term, I know. What do I exactly mean by this? By this I mean to say that you shouldn't really be scared about using your items early. It all depends on the situation, of course, but is it really worth it? Keeping some items which could really help you out in the moment for later waves? It will be more rewarding if you use your items later, but at the same time you are risking dying by not using them. Of course, all depending on the situation, but these key decisions can really decide the turn of the game. Imagine you get to make a decision. Use a firebomb on, let's say, wave 8, or save it up for the final wave. While using it right now could be considered a waste. At the same time, if you don't have enough resources, you might as well use it and hope you'll find another one, or items which could help you later. If you don't use it, you risk receiving debuffs such as arterial bleeding or breaking your legs or arms. Is it really worth it to save up an item and take the risk for a better payoff? These are the things you should always think about. I am not, of course, saying that you should be using all your items early game, but if you're doing really bad and are not sure if you're gonna survive, you should consider using some of the more powerful items. So before you decide to save up your dynamite for later, think about the situation you're in. Think what could happen if you don't use it and take the risk. Battle awareness. I have honestly not been able to come up with a better name for this. If you're confused, allow me to explain. You should always be picky about your fight in both looting phase and night phase. During looting phase, even if it's just one knife scavenger, you should think about what could possibly happen. You should know that scavengers usually stick in groups, so that one knife scavenger you just attacked can be backed up by an AK scavenger. Even even if a melee scavenger is alone, anything can happen at any time. You can always lag and receive damage and possible debuffs, which might be hurting. You can always be surprised by the presence of more scavengers behind a corner. The melee scavengers you just attacked can turn out to be a skinner, and some scavengers can just be annoying to fight. So you can save yourself the nuance by avoiding them or killing them with, let's say, a hunting axe. You can also go for some ranged scavengers. By that I mainly mean the pistol scavenger or sniper scavenger if they happen to be close by. Other ranged scavengers are risky to take on. You can usually take them on utilizing your perk, however. And during the night phase, this is more about you picking off the more dangerous scavengers, such as snipers or AK ones. You can always use the red container as a cover against them and wait around the corner to strike. And just in general, you gotta know your limits and what scavengers you can take on. While I consider myself to be above average at the game, I still don't dare to try melee fight the sledgehammer scavenger, as I might win the fight, but the 10 HP I'll be on says otherwise. Night phase. During the night phase, you know what's coming and where the enemies are coming from. This mistake I see newer players doing, and that is being cocky and taking fights they shouldn't. In a team, during the night phase, you need to make key decisions, whether you're not gonna be a frontliner or a backliner. If you're low HP or just not that good at combat, you shouldn't really be finding enemies at the front lines, as that can lead up to your teammates not being so happy with the morale they just received. Of course, it's all situational and you just maybe build different, taking all the fights at even 1 HP, but for average Decaying Winter player, I don't recommend fighting when you simply cannot. Try using your perk to help your teammates from back, or take a ranged weapon and snipe ranged scavengers from back. Both you and your teammates will be happy that they get through the night without unnecessary casualties. Item management. By item management, I more of mean what items to take and what items to scrap. Once again, this is very much situational and depends on the wave and the state you're in. If your team or you are not so healthy, using the medkit on the spot is not a bad idea, and bringing it to the base is also good. But to items such as Aspectic Bandage, it's very good, but do you really need it on wave 1? Isn't the Friar Axe you could get faster by scrapping the Aspectic Bandage better? It all depends on the time and your status. You should always be thinking further ahead. Are you gonna need the grenade, or is it better to just scrap it on the spot? Are you gonna need the blue stim later, or is it better to just scrap it now and hope you'll find a new one? You just always gonna think. And also, I'm sure your teammates will be happy if you're gonna stop bringing the 5 crude bandages every looting phase. At last, I just wanted to say thank you that we reached 50 subscribers. I am very much happy and thank you for watching.